You're listening to Heroes in the Moment. What's up, heroes? I'm Michael.
And I'm Nathan.
And today we're breaking down Andor episode 5
5
and 6.
Oh, so it's 2,
we're
baby.
Going hard today. Well,
hard in the paint.
Again, I would like to say we apologize. We had some scheduling conflicts.
Sorry, I was in Chattanooga.
We have lives outside this podcast.
I know. It might be crazy.
I know it might be crazy. You may not realize
but we got jobs.
We got jobs.
Relationships, lives.
Some of us have school.
Yeah.
You know, other things going on.
Sounds cool.
But we're breaking them down now, both of them, 5 and 6. Obviously, you have more about to say to 6 and then 5. But
we got to break down 5 because it set it up perfectly.
We do. So let's go into 5. So right off the bat, I must say, it was forgettable.
Yeah.
I mean, just, you know.
I mean, in the sense that we forgot it.
Legit.
Like, think about it, you know? I can't, if you ask me right now to recap 5, I would say, I remember the tension between the one homie and then the other homie, and I forgot his name is Andor. Yep. And I remember just them getting ready. Like, that's pretty much it.
Pretty much it. And that pretty much sums it up. I mean, we'll go in a little bit more depth, but yeah, it pretty much was forgettable. It was boring. I will say, it wasn't that it was a bad episode. It was just so slow that like I couldn't keep up. Like I was honestly falling asleep, and I don't fall asleep much to like.
But
when
it was
I'm
like
watching
40 minutes of just build up.
Dude, yeah.
I mean, you don't even see that in movies. Obviously, movies in the first act they'll have something to intrigue you, but they'll have like a slow burn or something.
There was nothing that's super intriguing.
Nothing. Like the main plot of this episode, the main reason why it existed, it was just showing the tensions within the group, and I didn't think that was interesting enough to be able to hold for an episode. To be honest. I don't know.
I agree.
Just my thoughts.
Yeah, they could have had more of attention grabbers than they did.
Yeah.
And they did not do it right.
Oh, you're getting paid? Oh, I don't like you.
I don't like you.
You don't have to like me.
You're
I'm
dumb.
getting paid to be here.
I'm getting paid to be here. Get
Guys,
over
be
it.
quiet. We have a mission.
Yeah, exactly. It was all just plans, all just build up to their ultimate vision or ultimate mission of invading this Imperial base to get some moolah out of it, but
some credits
and conversations. Obviously, we did see some practicing for the heist, right? They're practicing their soldiery ways,
which I mean came in clutch.
It did later. We see that.
You can't pretend to be a soldier, but not know how to become the soldier.
Exactly. Exactly. You gotta
think about it.
Envision and become
one
with the soldier.
Just
don't miss. Like an actual stormtrooper would. So,
the reason we have movies because they
exactly
missed.
All right, so of course we get some of that practice. Also in the show we get some more about Mon Mothma and her family struggles. We got she doesn't have much of a connection with her daughter.
Yeah,
her daughter, right? Or was it son? So bad.
Dang it, bro! I just went along with it.
No,
I wasn't even thinking.
Was
it daughter?
It was daughter.
Her and is it her husband?
Her husband, yeah.
They have such a weird relationship.
They do.
Dude.
They do not help each other.
Yeah, it's very cold. They're not very helpful for each other. It's just like, what I'm saying.
Yeah, she's dealing with a lot. She's dealing with her family struggles and the rebellion.
But secretly, I mean, I assume they don't know that she's a big player for the rebellion. So that would be hard to live that double life in a marriage.
And it's actually really crazy because I actually really like Mon Mothma as a character.
Yeah,
honestly,
I want to see more.
I really like her.
We're not seeing enough.
What I like is this is the same actress that's playing her who betrayed her in Rogue One and who was the voice of her in
the original trilogy.
No, she wasn't the original. I mean, Lord, goodness gracious, she'd be old. No, but she was in that. She was also in Revenge of the Sith. She was the same one.
She's in Revenge of the Sith?
She is, barely,
There's
briefly.
No way.
But she's the same actress who did her again. So that was cool.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so we get to see more struggles, her dealing with rebellion. And then, of course, in this episode, we see Luthen, and he's shaking because he's worried about the plan.
Yeah, well, dude, honestly, it was cool because the whole, the beginning presented Luthen as this completely super cool character.
For sure.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's a rebel. He's got secrets, all this stuff. But you see him just like petrified with fear and anxiety.
Right.
Worried about, not just, the lives of the people he's put at stake, but
worrying if he made the right choice with Andor as well.
Yeah.
Worrying like, did I make a mistake with him? Or just all the stuff that goes into worrying. Because, I mean, it would be something worrisome.
And that just played into the whole situation. Like, we related with Luthen in that. Even though at first we're like, oh, this dude is so cool, I could never. And you're like, oh, he's just like me. I'm worried for them, too.
Dude, I'm rocking with Luthen. Always.
He's my favorite character, honestly, right now.
Really?
Yeah, I love Luthen. I want to see more of him.
Yeah, I would like to see more of him too, and I think we will for sure in the future of the show. Also, we get to see more of the Imperial officer, or I don't know if she's an officer or higher than officer of Daedra. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing Daedra Miro. And she, of course,
Daedra
is seeing.
She's like the one, the white.
She's the one, the white. Yes, blonde hair, white. And she's the one who sees more of the rebellion rising than the Empire does. And she's trying to break that down and figure out, how she can stop it.
She's a force,
dude. Yeah,
I'll tell you that. Like,
I really like her as well.
She's
a good character. At this point,
and they've written her very well.
They have
most, female villain characters that Disney has written recently have just been kind of off,
right?
Especially
right.
Reva in Kenobi, obviously comes to mind. But dude, she has been spot on.
She has been, and entertaining. Well received, very cool. So she's seeing all this rebellion arising, and now we get to hopefully see what she does to it. My theory is hopefully she, realizes that the people above her are not listening, but somebody more practical, Grand Admiral Thrawn, will listen. So
goes and works under him.
I bet he did. I mean, because he wears white.
Honestly, every single one of our villain predictions end with Thrawn. I feel like
just because I want him so bad.
I'm telling you, this character is gonna relate. That works up. I hope.
What's gonna happen is R2D2 is gonna come in, and he's gonna project an image of Leia. Leia's gonna say, "I need a new hope," and that hope is Grand Admiral Thrawn. That's what we need,
bro. Why did I think of that,
dude? I know. It's genius. But we need him.
Your brain.
I'm just saying we need. I know we're gonna get him
definitely in the future for sure. Help carry some.
But I think
Marvel
he would do
Star
well
Wars
in
projects
as well.
Yeah.
But anyway,
season 2.
Next up, we get Mr. Cyril eating space cereal.
I wasn't exactly sure. It was an odd moment, but it was really cool. Like just him and his very odd mother.
Yes.
And they're having this whole conversation, and he's like coming, to terms with the fact that, his life is like in ruin right now. He's desperate. He's searching for what he can do. He's truly at his lowest. And a wise man once said, when men are at their lowest, they are achievable of the highest of things.
Dude, yeah.
Nathan Mager.
Pretty sure that's quite
2022
forever.
I just made that up. But yeah, honestly, I like this scene. It was kind of a little boring sometimes, but it was cool. Thank you.
Dude, I agree. And honestly, we get some more arguments, like you said earlier, between Andor and one dude, and again, build up.
There was just I feel like a lot of unnecessary tension between the team. They're 3 days out. They do not need to be worried about who's getting paid or who this man is. They trust their leader, and that the leader's leader has brought in somebody capable for the job. Now is not the time. Stick to the mission, boy.
To the mission.
I just felt like doing that.
But yeah, I completely agree. And this paves the way to episode 6.
All right, so that's episode 5.
That was episode 5.
Thanks for listening, guys.
And now we go into We Love You 3000. Anyway, no. We're going
that's later.
We're going to episode 6. Because I just have to say, holy crap, that was so good. Like, I would go to show, let the record show.
All right, let it show. Speak to me, Michael. Speak.
Was the best Disney Plus Star Wars episode ever. It was that good.
Wow.
And not only that, and that's like all of Mandalorian, all of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
All of everything.
All Kenobi.
Oh, well, actually, I take that back because Clone Wars finale. Okay, I do take that back.
No, listen, I don't. I think this trumps that, which speaks a lot. No way. That was the build-up. Yeah.
No way.
At least in terms of the writing.
Okay, let me rephrase. Live action.
Okay, live action. Yeah,
live action,
all right.
And that's what I meant anyway.
Yeah.
Live action, Disney Plus, anything. And it was phenomenal. And I honestly think behind the ending of Rogue One, it was the best Star Wars scene ever, not including lightsabers.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Listen, man, I can't argue with you. I think it meets all the criteria. Like you said, there's no competition when it comes to best live action Disney Plus Star Wars episode. There's not.
Right.
Like we said, Mando season 2 episode 5 was good.
Book of Boba Fett episode 5.
Book of Boba Fett. Sorry, it was
season
Mando
2.5 of Mando. Yeah, you're right.
But this was on another level.
It was
and like you said,
another level.
Lightsabers excluded. It's probably the best thing we've seen in recent years.
Minus, of course, Rogue One.
Rogue One.
But yeah, dude, it was like next level good.
I watched it today, and I'm still trying to bring my mind to the terms that Disney is capable of making this.
And they haven't been.
And they've been holding it back.
I know.
I understand because of budget, but you see what they did with 5 episodes of build up with the character they created. You see what they've done?
So good.
Like the soundtrack.
I was going to mention that. Plot. Amazing. The soundtrack. Amazing.
The
visual effects.
Oh, dude, the visual effects were crazy.
Beautiful.
The choreography. The cinematography.
I'm
just naming words I don't understand.
Dude, I agree.
Eschatography. I mean, what I'm saying is that what we saw in here, if you had just shown me, I would have thought it was just like a mini movie.
Dude, for sure.
This was not an episode.
I completely agree. Like, going into this episode, I didn't have high expectations because episode 5, I was just so bored and I was like, this is going to be another one of those slow, overarching things. I was not going to be into it. And, first off, I started off like very monotone. My phone was next to me. I was like tempted to grab it.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, I was probably 5 to 10 minutes in and I was hooked.
Yeah.
I was absolutely hooked. I was glued to the screen. I was mesmerized by how good it was because it exceeded all my expectations.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was that good.
Listen, dude, I think the best part of this was how much they made you care for the characters. Dude, we haven't seen that much, but starting.
And I didn't realize that they did that.
Yeah, think back on it with me. What's that one character, the one really nerdy guy that everybody loves? Who had the coordinates?
In Andor?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
Well, remember, it starts in the beginning because he has a one-on-one conversation with Andor, and he's struggling. He's like, I have faith, and I'm scared. Like, what about you?
I can't sleep.
Exactly. He's struggling with this huge moment, this decision coming up.
Karis Nimmick.
Karis. And that, listen, man, if I was in that situation, that's exactly what I would be doing.
Exactly.
Too. But from that moment, you realize, look, these characters, they're not guaranteed another episode.
No, and that's what's cool too, is to piggyback off of that. Is usually with Star Wars when you have a big old mission like this, you're usually typically like, oh, they're gonna succeed, easy, no stress, no stakes, it's gonna be cool. This is the most like stakes, honestly, I've ever seen in Star Wars.
I know, and Star Wars will have like big planets exploding or big thing, but like this was
and you feel nothing.
A tight group. Exactly, this was a tight group of like 5-6 people,
right?
And just hearing one guy like
that you met 2 episodes ago,
like cry his heart out like the night before.
Dude, yeah,
was like it was gut wrenching listening to it.
Be like I'm so exhausted, I can't sleep. And then Andor, gets conversation. Then the next morning when they're getting ready, he's like, "You're right, I'm not tired." And it's like, "Oh my goodness,
like, it's
chill
on.
Bumps."
Dude, I literally just got I did. I'm cold.
Literal chills.
I'm cold.
Dude, it was
so
crap. Cool.
Yeah.
The stakes,
it made
the immeasurable.
You care, man. That's
it made me care.
It made you care.
You actually seeing the characters shake with fear. The acting, amazing.
Yeah, it was.
They were
perfect.
shaking. The girl, when she's like, "Are you ready to execute the plan?" And she was like, "No, uncertain."
Yeah,
was
it like, Vel?
We can go back now.
And she was the one planning everything. Exactly. And she almost couldn't go through with it. Yeah.
She almost couldn't go through with it because how serious the stakes were. That's how insane it was.
Yeah.
And it just kept on going with that. And it was brilliantly written and brilliantly made.
Listen, man, whoever did this episode, man.
Props.
Give him more.
Everything.
Give him the bag.
Dude,
give him everything.
Give him everything. Give him Morbius. Like, just give him
Morbius 2.
Morbius 2.
50.
The next 50 Morbiuses. Give him Secret Wars. I don't care. Give him everything.
Secret Wars versus
Morbius. Best movie ever. But yeah, dude, so amazing. And, it starts off with the build up the Empire, them not really caring about the Dehanius tribe, the tribal people of this world. Them coming up, them wanting to praise the stars and all this stuff going on, and the rituals, them wanting to honor that, stuff. And that kind of thing to kind of like make peace with them, in a sense.
Yeah. By the way, they take over their planet, build a ton of stuff, and then they act like it's a big deal.
Yeah, I know.
When they let them on their own planet view the own like phenomenon,
and then they get in their temple, they give them the Chewbacca fur. And then
I was like, "What is this?"
And I was like, "Is that Wookiee?"
I know. I'm like, my man, some brother died.
I know, Chewie, man. One of his buds.
It's a rib.
But no,
pouring out for the homies.
It was so cool. And then of course you had the enact of the plan. That we see their training come through and their soldiers up. We find out the one dude was a former stormtrooper prior to becoming in this mission.
I forgot his name. He's like, you're bossy. Why are you like giving orders? She's like, bro, he was a stormtrooper. You should have been here when wasn't Cinta found out. Bam, further tension. The silent girl
could have had better target practice.
Was slaughtered.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Bro. She wouldn't be here if they hadn't.
So we had the 4 of them lining up, getting ready to enact the plan by kidnapping the main officer guy.
Yeah.
And
I hated that guy.
Oh, that guy sucked. But then we go on to, but a good villain. And we go on to, and he portrayed that well.
Yeah,
and
perfectly.
Then we go on to the 2 girls who are, going through the water, timing it perfectly to where they're not going to be seen or heard.
Yeah.
And then they go and to enact the plan of shutting things down. And then, of course, it brings in them kidnapping. And, of course, you had the lieutenant officer guy who I really liked. I really liked him. And
Goran, right?
Yes. And he was planning all of this stuff and behind the scenes, everybody trusted him. And honestly, there were certain scenes where I was almost convinced he was on the Empire side.
Yeah. And
that's how good they did it.
He was doing it so well that say everyone had survived and they were questioning all the officers for whose fault is it. I think he potentially could have been without blame.
Dude, yeah, for
just
sure.
The way he went about it was not suspicious.
Not at all.
It was just very caring, but he was still very strict in Empire.
Very imperial.
He was one of my favorites throughout
these
episodes.
I absolutely loved him.
Goran.
His character.
Shout out Goran,
man.
He killed it.
And of course it leads up to them getting into the vault. They're doing anything without any means. And it shows war. It shows the true nature of war when it comes to they're willing to kidnap his son and his wife.
Yeah.
2 probably completely innocent people, even though they're imperial. And they could have not been there.
They've done nothing.
Exactly.
The only thing they've done is she's married him and had a kid.
Exactly. And it shows the realism of war and how, when it comes to rebellions, you're willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
But then goes,
you're threatening their lives to get what you want.
To get what you want.
Crazy.
But of course, it goes a step further and says, you're just going to, the bad guy goes, you're just going to shoot us when it's all over. And it's like, that's what you would do. We're not doing that. Yeah. We're here for one purpose, but we will do what we got to do. And I was like, oh my goodness, dude.
I know.
That was great writing.
It's fire. It's fire,
They know what they're doing. Thank goodness, finally.
Finally.
Disney.
That's a good word for it.
Oh, man. So good. And then, of course, it goes immensely dark and in a way and direction I did not think it would go. How did you think? What do you think?
To be honest, I can't saw this part coming. I knew that just going in with with the foreshadowing, I knew that there were certain people that were not going to walk out of their life. And I knew for a fact that they were just going to be gut-wrenching deaths, to be honest. And that's
think of that.
That's what we got, honestly.
And we got that. And of course, we know that they're using the people to load in the stuff, load in all the credits.
Just taking them all. First of all, I don't understand. I mean, this is a group of 5 people, but yet they're holding 15 officers hostage.
Dude, yeah. Well, they have his wife and children already up there in a different level as hostages, as the one girl has them. Already has that collateral. They come in shocked because, again, they come in thinking that he's,
I guess the hostages wouldn't care about them, though, to be honest. Yeah. So unless you're super, super loyal, which I doubt they were to this one guy, but I don't know.
And then, of course, it leads and sparks to a series of events. You have, more of the Empire people come in and they start going to a shooting. Yeah,
it's a whole
right off the gate. You see the one dude pass out.
Goran, he gets
not Goran. The bad guy. What's his name? I forget his name. The older dude. He passes out.
Petrogal. Maybe he was not the one that couldn't fit his belt around.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, Petrogal.
Yeah,
he was a colonel. I think he was the top dog there, to be honest.
Yeah, he was definitely the top dog. And he passes out. And then of course
passes out.
Yeah, he
get shot.
Over. No, I don't know. He just fell. He
had a heart attack.
He could have it. Just stress. And then you had the lieutenant. What was his name?
Goran.
And he gets shot right off the bat.
I almost didn't notice that, to be honest.
You did.
Listen, man, I will say, I wish they had spent more time with him.
I do.
He was the only reason they were
Unless he survived, and that's why they didn't want to show it he got shot, but maybe he still lives through it.
I hope so.
That'd be cool.
There's definitely a future, but if he truly is dead, I wish it would have shown more.
Right.
He just drops first, you know?
I agree.
I feel like that's a little disrespect to who he is.
I know, because he was so cool.
I know.
And then another great piece of dialogue, and he's like, what was his name? What'd you say? The old dude. I keep forgetting. I'm so bad. I'm sorry. It's late.
Luthen?
No, the The old dude, the leader of the Imperial base. You just said it.
No, I said the name of Petrigal.
Petrigal.
He was the one that passed out.
Yes.
He wasn't the one with the wife and kids.
Yeah, that's the dude who passed out. Petrigal, the bad guy of the Imperial base.
I was talking about the other dude, like the taller one, more skinny one. That's Colonel Petrigal, I think.
No, wait, what?
I'm so point confused. Is, I don't know their names.
I don't know their names.
I was so caught up in the plot.
I know. I wasn't paying attention to all their names. I know Andor.
I know Andor.
But anyway, of course, you have this again. Shooting out. I would love to have seen more of the lieutenant, but we didn't. And then now I lost my train of thought because of that. Names.
Sorry,
but it's and then of course the stormtrooper guy gets shot. And dies. He did die. Yeah, because he was left.
What was his name? Tamarin? Something
Maybe.
Like that.
You have a great memory.
No, listen. I had the subtitles on. Is what I had.
I never have subtitles on. So.
I have to because I miss it because I get caught up. But I will say that part just felt kind of unrealistic, right? You had, who is it? Vel. She was hiding. She had cover. She's like, help! I'm pinned down. To paraphrase. And then who is it? They're like, dude, cover me. Or like, cover her. And then homie decides, while the other homie is pew pew pew, decides to run out.
Well, no, she says cover me, and he runs out. And at first, he does cover her and gives her the cover she needs to get to a place, and then he gets shot. That is actually super realistic because, in a sense, usually these characters just live, but they went a step further with him not making it.
The man just ran out in the open with dudes in the balcony.
Well, they had to get to a certain location, or they would have been pinned in and trapped and died anyway. So they had to get to a location. So
his
covered
sacrifice
her,
saved him.
And not necessarily sacrificing himself. He was catching them off guard, shooting them at him and stuff. And he didn't get shot right off the bat, but he got shot later. So
that was sad, dude.
It was sad.
That really was.
And I'm actually reminded of this, but the bad dude that they captured, I was talking about earlier. I lost my train of thought. But anyway, the bad dude was talking to the lieutenant, and he's like, when he found out that he was with the rebels, he was like, "You'll hang for this." And he's like, "Hanging for this is much better than this."
The 7 years I served with you. I was like,
ooh, spit.
That's like what you dream of saying, like when you quit your job.
Dude, yeah.
You're like, dude, I'm gonna say something so fire, they're gonna remember me forever. And then you're like, it's just really dumb.
I know, exactly.
That's what you imagine yourself saying.
Dude,
it. Yeah,
so good, so good. And then of course it leads to a series event. The remaining survivors of, I think it's 4 at this point that are left, and of course the other lady. Girl is getting out. She's leaving.
It's like Cinta, whatever. It's Andor. It's the nerd we all like.
Yes.
Vel, and then the dude he had the major beef with.
Yes. And they get on the ship. Andor's flying it out of there, and we see they're not strapped down good because they're having to hurry.
Yeah, they had just jumped in there, and they didn't do a normal takeoff. He hit the gas.
He had to get out of there. And he's like, hold on. And then, of course, that results in the credits crushing our nerd that we like. And we literally hear the crunch. And I was like, at first I thought he was dead initially.
Yeah, I did
but
too.
Then I realized, okay, his spine's broken.
I was like, all right, he could maybe. But
I was just thinking maybe he's just paralyzed.
Yeah.
They gave him some adrenaline to get him out of there and navigate for what he did. But anyway, they're getting, they're going through there. They're getting out of there. And then we see this beautiful, beautiful visual effects, some of the most beautiful. The sky of all the stars,
all these like stars, these lights just coming through, and
they're being attacked by TIE fighters. That some of the sickest TIE fighters I've seen shots.
This whole scene, both on the ground and
the music,
in the air, and what was happening was all so picturesque, right? On the bottom, you have side by side the Denani, how you say it, and then you have the Imperial troopers. Yeah. And for once, they're just sitting there in peace together, watching a spectacle. In the ship, you have the dude who just got crushed by credits.
Yeah.
So they're trying to save his life while trying to save
get out of there
in the midst
for the rebellion
of the spectacle. Like,
all of
this was massive. And you're going back and forth.
And like even before that, you were going back and forth through the tribe singing and doing this and what they're going through and just the symbolism there. So amazing.
Listen, man, there is so much stuff happening.
So much to break down. We can't even break it all down.
It was beautiful.
It's crazy, beautiful.
Beautiful, man.
Right.
Beautiful.
And then of course they get out of there. They, are like debating, do we go off and do we take the credits and we go? or do we go to the doctor? And Andor says, let's go to the doctor.
Yeah, and I feel like that moment right there, I know I might have probably said that before, but listen, that like really defined his character. I mean, before we seen him, like do it for the money or he's not into it, but like here he makes a conscious decision. I don't have to.
For sure.
But I'm going to stop, take a detour, and try to save this man's life.
Because he really liked that guy. They had connection.
Yeah, they talked a lot. They had helped each other out, learned a lot from each other. Right. So heartwarming moment right there.
Absolutely. And then we get to this planet, the doctor, and we see this doctor. It was like he had 4 hands.
Yeah, 4 hands. You gotta be a good doctor then.
You gotta be a good doctor.
He did twice as much.
He reminded me, the face was like Maz Katana, or whatever.
Yeah, from
Force
the
Awakens
trilogy,
the sequels. And then also like reminded me of the character from Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Movie of him, creating stuff. But anyway, we have that scene, and then of course we go outside and we have name guy. What's his name?
Yeah. Dude, I'm the subtitle guy.
Angry dude who was, they got in a fight with Andor, and he's
Sus
like,
guy.
Hey man, you and me right now. There's 80 million in there, 40 apiece.
Yeah, you drive.
Let's go.
He needs him. 40 million apiece.
Yeah.
It will take me to my safe.
You will take
and listen, house. Man. I think a lot of us saw this coming. If you look back,
and also he like saying I lied, I never even had a brother, and all the stuff he lied about.
I was enraged because he like used that for like emotional.
He was not a good guy.
No, he wasn't. He was not at all. And I don't, bro. Well, I was gonna say something, and then I said, bro, and then I forgot what was I gonna say. Dang it, dude.
He was just not a good guy.
Yeah, no, he was an absolutely terrible guy, and obviously, right, he needs Andor for this credits, right? Mm-hmm. And it was foreshadowed. If you look back at the scene where they first lay their eyes upon the credits, it zooms in on his face, and he gives this really weird look, and you're like, all right, this guy is sus. Like, I've been feeling sus vibes. I didn't know if it would come to this, but essentially he's like, look, let these people here to die.
Right.
We did our job. This money is more
he just wants to get
important than their lives.
Right. And then Andor.
So who's the mercenary now?
Right. Oh, him.
Who's in it for the money?
He made the split-second decision to kill him. Like, just right off the
Listen,
bat.
I can't lie.
I was surprised. I was genuinely surprised.
As soon as he killed him, I was in shock. I thought there'd be a fight. If his fight, he would go right on him.
He just instantly shot him.
The more I thought about it, I was like, what else could have Andor done?
Right.
If he hadn't, he probably could have killed the others.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And just took it for himself.
Took it for himself. Obviously, couldn't got out of there. But something worse would have happened. So, honestly, Andor, I think he made the right executive move.
Right.
I don't support murder.
He did.
But I think he was saving lives.
And then, of course, Andor goes into this like panic mode, and he goes in the doctor tent. It's revealed the nerd died. I feel bad saying that. But yeah, that was sad.
Dude, I feel like he's my cousin. Like, truly.
I know.
He looks like a Matthew to me.
And it's revealed that only 3 of the original mission people survived. And that, of course, was Andor, Cinta,
and then Vel.
The Vel.
Yeah. I will say this part was weird. I was so confused why he ran into the tent with his gun drawn.
I know. At first, I was like, why is he doing that?
What is he doing?
But initially, it was like, he told her what he did, and she was, of course, reacted right.
Yeah.
And she was like, what are you doing? And, killed him. And then, of course, he's like, I just want my take. You take what you get. I'm out of this. I want to be out. And which is completely realistic take.
Well, so how does she get out of that situation? Like he can drive the freighter. What is she gonna have? Maybe he said, I'll give you this much money for the thing out back.
Oh yeah, that's right. So
I guess he takes that thing, and then she takes the freighter with the majority of the money.
Right. Which we know the reason of this money is to help start the rebellion.
Yeah, but still, it doesn't feel like Andor to do that. Like, I feel like if he truly had a clean conscience about what he just did, about who he just killed,
and I feel like
he would have come clean and worked with her.
I feel like that's what we're going to explore in episode 7 is his like regret. He's going to be like, like, why did I do that? Should I actually help this rebellion, or should I just go off on my own again and just be on the run all the time?
Yeah.
Or should I have a higher purpose than just being a mercenary or just being, somebody?
Yeah.
I can actually do something for good.
Well, that would be interesting to see. I didn't think about that.
Right.
But I was confused. I was like, that's a weird road to take after all you just went through.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And then we go back to, of course, the beautiful Coruscant, and we see Luthen here worried about what happened. And he goes back to the back room, and this made me so happy.
Yeah.
And sad at the same time of him being super happy and excited.
He's just like laughing
because he's so like enjoyous.
He just breaks down. I mean, that truly is the greatest emotion ever felt, in my opinion, is relief.
Right.
Right.
Oh, dude, so good.
Relief.
Relief.
He was, I have all these people, their lives are in my hands. They did it. The rebellion is on.
Until he finds out what happens. But
yeah, we'll see what happens when he does.
Right.
But yeah, that was cool.
Dude,
great way to include him at the end.
And then, of course, in the beautiful finale is we see the Senate again. The first time we've seen the Senate since Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
In its entirety. And we see Mon Mothma, bringing up some issues.
Yeah, she's proposing the bill, and I wasn't exactly sure what was happening, but I was feeling it. I was like, I could support this.
And no one was into it. Everybody was against her.
Nah.
Everybody knows what she's up to.
They was not vibing.
And honestly, like when it showed the middle, I was thinking Sidious was about to pop up, but of course that did not happen. I don't see him showing up, but that would be cool. But just imagine him showing up and be like, Senator Mothma. That's a dumb idea. Something like that, But I
might have to kill you for that.
I might. You never know what I'm capable of. But no, again, episode 6 in its entirety. What an incredible, and just talking about it and breaking it down, it makes me like it so much more.
Yeah.
And I'm just such in awe of that episode. I really need to rewatch that again because of how much of a spectacle it was. I was so impressed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it'll go from here because to me that was peak.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to see it.
I can't argue with you there. One last question. Do you think that like the whole, part with the Senate finding out via their, phones or whatever they have about the rebellion, do you think that's gonna have like any, I don't know, consequences or like future plots involving the Senate as a whole?
I think probably.
And the rebellion?
I would hope so.
It just seemed weird to see like it only showed like Luthen's reaction to it, and then the complete Senate's reaction to it.
Right.
I wondered, like, how would that play in?
I think it will. I think obviously it'll get back to Empire and their effects, and they're realizing that there's something going on bigger at hand, and what we're gonna see from that.
Yeah.
And the reactions of Mon Mothma and how to kind of bury this idea of rebellion, like, oh, somebody's rebelling, but like, no,
rebellion, more like unhappy employees,
more like people who just want more like, or they'll play it off as like or robbers, I guess, that just want to steal for money.
I will be very interested in seeing that.
The political nature.
How she tries to.
See, we'll see like the political nature of it, what's happening with now, and then Luthen and all this stuff going on. Oh, it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
Like you just said, man, this is the best we've seen. It sets the bar very high. Obviously, everything after this, might be a little disappointed, but
we may not. Who knows?
But this just proved that Marvel, dang it, that Disney has what it takes.
Marvel and Star Wars fall under that branch.
Yeah, to make a great thing. We hope to see more of that in the future.
For sure. I agree. 100%.
All right, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, let us know by giving us a review and a download. Our podcast, Here's in the Moment, is available everywhere. So check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
If you want to check out all of our previous episodes, go ahead and check them out. Our last episode is Werewolf by Night, the special breakdown. It goes dummy hard. So feel free to go and check that crazy thing out. If you want to stay up to date with all of our announcements and our updates, check us out on the socials. Instagram at Here's in the Moment and TikTok Here's in the Moment with an extra T.
Yes, and we just want to thank y'all for listening. And as always, we love you 3000.